Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I have another VGC 14 battle for you all from the June International Challenge, which obviously took place last month. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I've been using this team. I had a pretty good run in the tournament itself, finished 3rd in the US, 4th in North America, and 18th overall in the world. Did not want to upload any videos at the time because I actually brought this team to US Nationals, but now I'm going to retire it basically. I'll be posting a team analysis on it pretty soon, but it was a really fun team, but it definitely had its pretty major weaknesses, but you know, I still had a ton of good battles in the June International Challenge that I'd love to show you guys, and this is just one of them. So you see on the screen I have Specs Gardevoir, Rotom Wash, Lumberry Garchomp, and Focus Sash Gengar. My opponent has Talonflame, Rhyperior, Kangaskhan, and Chandelure. Right away you should probably assume, Trick Room, especially with the Chandelure Rhyperior setup, so I definitely had that going into this game. I don't have a very good way to actually beat Trick Room, so I decided, alright, I just need to bring Pokemon that can beat his Pokemon quickly. So did go for the 4 that I did because, has the super effective hits I need to KO him. So without further ado, let's get into this battle. Now, Trick Room is kind of interesting in VGC 2014. It's definitely not as popular as a strategy as opposed to, say, VGC 2012 or 2013, mainly because the Trick Room users aren't as good. You had Cresselia and Jellicent in 2013, which was really, really nice. Now, Chandelure is nice, but it's pretty darn frail. You often see with the Focus Sash, just to survive an attack and get the Trick Room up. So he's going to go with his Kangaskhan and Chandelure against my Gardevoir and Rotom Wash. It's also interesting to see the Kangaskhan because normally Mawile is the Mega Evolution you'd want to use in a Trick Room team, just because it's so much more powerful. Or not so much more, but it's slower, and you'd imagine with Trick Room going up, Mawile is the slowest Pokemon, or the fastest Pokemon on the field. This first turn, I do go for the Will-O-Wisp and the Moonblast onto Kangaskhan. I know Trick Room's going up, and I basically just admit defeat there. And I figure I have Garchomp in the back, so whether I burn the Kangaskhan or do a lot of damage, I'll take either. And he is going to let me Moonblast the Kangaskhan as he goes for the Fake Out onto Rotom Wash. Trick Room is obviously going to go up, as I predicted. And yeah, it's not the best of positions for me. Now this following turn, I assume he's just going to Shadow Ball and target the Rotom. Shadow Ball the Gardevoir and target the Rotom. And I actually take that Shadow Ball and he goes for the Double Edge into the Protect, so Gardevoir is able to get that Moonblast off and it is able to knock out Kangaskhan. Really needed that. It's always huge to knock out your opponent's Mega Evolution. It's even more important when it's a Trick Room team and that Mega Evolution is actually even more powerful since it's going to basically outspeed your entire team. So I'm really pleased with that turn. Now this turn I kind of screw up. I totally forgot that I protected the previous turn. I must have been sidetracked. I don't know what I was doing because obviously I would have just went for a Hydro Pump here. Of course my Rotom does carry the Citrus Berry, so I know I can take a Rock Slide and a Shadow Ball, which is exactly what my opponent goes for. The Rock Slide is going to bring me down to 43 HP, but I'm going to heal back with that Citrus Berry, and he goes for the Shadow Ball. I switch into Garchomp because I know it's a relatively safe switch in, and Garchomp is great against both of my opponent's Pokemon. And if I just went for the Hydro Pump there, the game probably would have been over if it hit. But unfortunately, it did not happen. I kind of had a brain fart, but makes the battle more interesting for you guys, right? So this next turn I'm going to switch out Rotom because I know that my opponent doesn't have priority on the field currently. So if Trick Room does manage to end and I still have my Rotom in the back, it can actually knock out either of his Pokemon. He's going to go for the Rock Slide and the Heat Wave here. He's going to miss the Rock Slide on Gardevoir, but it's going to knock it out anyway with the Heat Wave. Garchomp did protect, so nothing's going to happen there. And we're down to the last turn of Trick Room now. I bring in Gengar, which is really good because it can do a lot of damage to both my opponent's Pokemon, and the protect here is obvious, but Chandelure, I'm pretty confident, doesn't have Hidden Power Ice, and I assume he's just going to go for another Rock Slide and Heat Wave, and I know my Garchomp can take that, so I know I can actually just safely Earthquake here. I guess a safer play for me actually should have just been to switch out the Garchomp and to protect the Gengar to ensure Garchomp survives and is able to come back in the next turn, but I kind of just went for the Earthquake this turn since Garchomp had so much HP, basically near full HP, and I am able to get that Earthquake off, so this turn plays out well as well, and that's actually pretty much going to help seal the game up for me because at this point I've done enough damage to knock out both of his Pokemon the following turn. So, if you're using a Trick Room team, you really want to knock out your opponent's Pokemon because if you don't knock them out, they'll just be able to do damage to you. Normally you have 2 full turns to take advantage of your Trick Room. The other 2 you'd assume is going to go down to your opponent's protecting or whatnot. So if you're not able to score knockouts on those turns, it's going to be really bad for you. And in this case, that's exactly what happened. Garchomp was huge in this matchup. It was able to knock out Chandelure or weaken both Chandelure and Rhyperior. Not flat. Now Talonflame is his last Pokemon, but against a Sash Gengar, a Garchomp, and a Rotom Wash, obviously it's not going to be able to pull out. He's gonna Brave Bird the Garchomp, but at this point I do have the Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb's surprisingly an effective way to deal with Talonflame after some recoil damage. Of course, Talonflame takes so much recoil damage from all its attacks, Brave Bird and Flare Blitz, or its main attacks really. Sludge Bomb is actually able to knock it out afterwards. So 2-0 win for me there, despite a major screw up earlier on by misclicking or really running out of time and going for an accidental double protect early on. I never want to use a double protect unless I really need to resort to. You know, it should normally be your last option, especially since chances of it not too great. But fortunately enough, was able to come back because Garchomp is a major beast. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that battle. Like I said in yesterday's video, I did make a new Facebook page for myself at facebook.com/CybertronVGC. That's in the description below, so check it out if you haven't already. Leave a like to get updates on whenever I post stuff, right away. So hope you guys enjoyed this battle, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.